I wonder what's on the tube.
Welcome back.
Thank you for being a friend.
What you talking about, Willis?
You are a meathead.
No soup for you.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Sitcom My Face. It's a very special episode, just like all those very special episodes that we all watched when we were younger. My name's Nick Franco, and with me, as always,
I'm Jay Bidwell.
How you
and
doing,
this
Jay?
Is Sitcom My Grave.
Yes, it is Sitcom My Grave.
What the fuck, man? Stop dying, legends. I'm sick of this shit.
I know. It's like, since we started, how many have dropped? We've lost Norm. We've lost Saget.
I want everyone to know we had no intention of doing this podcast to mourn the passing of all the comic greats when we started this in August.
Right.
And it's just happened, and it sucks. So every time we plan on doing a show, someone dies, we end up changing it. This was a week where we planned on doing different strokes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gilbert passed, and I know Gilbert means a lot to you as a fan. We've mentioned him on this show many
times. I've mentioned his podcast a lot. I have always been a big fan.
We've talked about a lot of the roasts have come up. A lot of his great roast jokes have come up on the show. Yeah, what a shit show. Sorry if you can see my... I said at work, my soul's leaking out of my eye. I had
your diseased
bloodshot eye. 2 weeks. Apparently, I had a viral infection that they can't treat until they treat the cut on my cornea. So, if you see this shit, that's what it is.
Yeah, see, he's.
I'm looking at my camera, going, "Holy shit!"
Right now he's leaking Sunny D, but I'm
gonna be leaking Jägermeister soon enough.
Nice.
For Gilbert, to Gilbert,
to Gil,
to Gilbert. Well. Yeah, this wasn't as easy as say when Norm passed. It was easy to go, we should cover the Norm show.
Yeah.
Norm's been on Gilbert's been on a million shows, but he didn't really have his own sitcom.
Right, but
say
like you said, Gilbert's been on shows. Holy crap. If you look at his IMDb page of all the TV shows that he's been on as just a guest role. Was he a main guy for a little bit? Was he?
We covered Night Court, which is one of my favorite shows. There
exactly.
At the end,
and he was there in the later season.
Yeah, that last season there, I think he did 3 episodes. Dan Fielding was the main prosecutor, and they did a storyline where he was on the run. So Gilbert came in and played that part.
Right, he was
very funny.
Oscar Brown.
Yeah. Very funny on there. I remember the episode of Married with Children where he played himself.
Yes,
and he was very great at the self-deprecating humor, which is one of my absolute favorite things. I'm a huge Conan fan, and I get a lot of my comedy stylings from people like that. The self-deprecating. Growing up a fat kid, it was very easy to go, I'll make the joke. Before you can make the joke, and then guess what? Everyone loves you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he had him off at the pass, and
Gilbert was great at that too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Conan's amazing on his YouTube. Whenever someone passes, he's so good about uploading these amazing moments from the history of his show.
Oh yeah, I love when he had done the Norm one with the
many great Norm moments.
The moth story was the best one, I think.
Yeah, he put up one for Gilbert that was just hysterical, and it was it Dick Cavett? Is that the clip I saw? Dick Cavett came out and Gilbert was doing his voice.
Probably,
and then he went off stage and Gilbert comes out. Yeah, pretty funny.
Yeah. The crazy thing is Gilbert was actually quite the impressionist too. He did a lot of great vocal impressions, but it wasn't.
He did a really good impression of Iago the parrot from Aladdin.
Oh yeah, he did a really good one. In fact, yes, he was Iago the parrot from Aladdin, and he was also Iago the parrot from Aladdin, the TV series. Oh yes, and as Jay's holding up, he was also in Problem Child and Problem Child 2. Also,
I think these were my first introduction to Gilbert. So
Okay.
funny in Problem Child. He was in the third one as well, right? But I've
Yes.
never seen the third one. I think it might be hard to find on DVD or something.
Yeah, no, he
I
was,
looked on eBay and they're all Region 2. So I don't know if it's maybe they never put out Region 1 of it. I'm not sure.
That
But
could
I've
be-
never seen that.
That could be.
But of course, he did all the Aladdins, right? I think he did all the sequels and the show.
Yes, he did the sequels to the show. The only one he did not do was when they did the live action one with Mr. Slappy himself, Will Smith.
Old Full House boy. What was his name? On
Say
Full
again?
House? No, the boyfriend. Remember, he's Aladdin. We talked about that on the Full House episode. Steve. From
okay.
Full House voiced Aladdin.
Mm.
Because on the TV show, it wasn't Robin Williams. It was Dan Castellaneta.
Yep.
Homer
Otherwise
Simpson
known
voiced
as
Genie.
Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, Gilbert's credits go on and on and on. Kind of like sometimes like Gilbert's routines, which were great. It was a purposeful thing. It's like, he would purposely extend something past this thing which made it funny. Okay, kind of like a funny version of Family Guy. But
Which he did voices for that.
Yes, he did.
He was on the Problem Child cartoon show, as we mentioned.
Yep.
He was. Oh, remember on the Clerks cartoon, he was like Patrick Swayze.
Not just that, but another one that he played on the Clerks cartoon was Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And there's a great story with Gilbert, the fact of when both he and Jerry were still up-and-coming comics. I told you he was great at doing impressions. He started doing the impression of Seinfeld. All the other comedians would crack up. People that were in the know, that came to see the local New York scene of comedy, they knew. Seinfeld himself wasn't too pleased. It's like,
That doesn't sound like me.
That doesn't sound anything like me. I don't know what he's doing. So
I've heard Jerry can't really take a joke about himself. I've heard that before.
Yes, and this is one of the early jokes about Jerry that Jerry was not fond of. So there was always a bit of Gilbert had no bitterness towards Jerry, but Jerry himself was a little miffed at those impersonations that Gilbert would do back in the day.
What did I see something? He was banned from the Emmys or something. Gilbert was up there and made some
Gilbert
jokes
actually
they didn't like.
Yes, Gilbert did the Emmys one year.
Oh, it was about Pee-wee. It was about
jerking off in a theater.
Yeah.
Yes, the famous Pee Wee Herman story when he was caught in a porn theater, and Gilbert
What the fuck
was
do they expect you to do in a porn theater? If they don't want you jerking off in a porn theater, they should handcuff your hands behind your back, right? The fuck are they for? If you can't sit there and get frustrated, so you go shoot up a church? Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
But Gilbert, made fun as would Gilbert always do. Like Gilbert's timing, he had great comedic timing, but at the same time, some people would say, "Oh, too soon." Like he actually, he made that
The
one
9/11 joke.
He made a 9/11 joke, not long after 9/11, where he was like, I had booked my flight for Cleveland, but they said we had to make a stop off at the Empire State Building. It's like,
And this was, I think, in 2001, right
oh
after.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was like not long after. So
it was at the Hugh Hefner roast. The Comedy Central roast.
yes. Again, Gilbert on the
But
roast.
do you remember how he saved it? This was a story that came up a lot upon his passing. A lot of comedians told this story. He was at the Hugh Hefner roast. He did the 9/11 joke very soon after 9/11, and he got booed. The audience turned on him, and he was being booed so bad that he took his cards and basically said, "Fuck it." He threw out the rest of his act, and that's when he delivered his amazing
The Aristocrats
joke.
which the audience totally got into.
If you're listening to this and you're not familiar, there's that documentary. Did Penn Jillette do it or something?
Yes, in 2005,
there's a documentary. It's just called The Aristocrats. It's a whole documentary about this legendary joke that I guess was like a behind the scenes, really not like they couldn't do it on TV and shit.
No,
it was always just joke.
It was amongst comedians. The comedians would try to outdo each other. Like they would be in the back rooms and they would tell the most filthy, awful, horrendous joke, and it would always end with what do you call this act? Oh, the Aristocrats. So
yeah, on the Norm episode, we talked about that style of joke came up. The journey of telling you these disgusting things is the joke.
Yes,
and it would the premise was like a family act was doing like audition for a agent or whoever, and they do all these disgusting, filthy things, and the comics would make up their own
own takes
of whatever the family's doing. It would change by the comedian, and whoever could, like you said, can make the most disgusting joke, and it would always end with, what do you call this act? The Aristocrats. So he, in this moment of like, oh fuck, I'm losing the audience, decides to take this legendary comic in joke, and he's like, I'm bringing it to the fucking world.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch that moment, the audience is confused, but the comics on stage are dying. Yeah. And it's fucking funny.
Yeah. Basically, like you said, Penn Jillette did that documentary, and he actually used that piece from Gilbert for like his segment.
They said it was
the
best telling of it, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they say that was everyone's favorite telling of that joke?
Correct. And
Rob Schneider's on the dais or something on that road. He is on the ground fucking rolling around. Like, Rob Schneider has fucking lost it. It was so funny.
Yeah, and like that was also the documentary when a lot of people realized some of the other comedians, like, oh, wait a second, their act is kind of filthy. That's where Saget was also, his rendition of The Aristocrats was performed. And oh my god,
it's a great doc. I don't know if it's probably streaming somewhere. I'm assuming I have the DVD.
I wouldn't be surprised, but if you get a chance to watch, check out The Aristocrats.
There's nothing more like enjoyable for me than watching comics talk about comedy.
Mm-hmm.
When you see a comedian who you respect and you think is brilliant discussing other people that inspired them,
yes,
like that shit is awesome to me.
Oh, no,
when you can follow
definitely.
that trail of brilliance back, and just that's why I think I have an appreciation for these old comics and these old shows, and you got to respect the lineage, you know.
Definitely, and Gilbert was
Sitcom
one that really did that.
Oh, sorry, Sitcom My Face is all about.
Oh yeah, no, it really it's one of the bases I don't know of our show.
A 23-year-old coworker of mine I was talking to the other day about King Kong. And I said, have you ever seen the original, like 33 or whatever, King Kong? He's like, no, I bet it looks like shit. And I was like, fuck you, dude.
No.
For 1930, whatever, or 31 or 33, I was like, that was amazing.
Yeah,
like,
that was Ray Harryhausen, the famous effects guy that he did King Kong. He did the skeletons and the Cyclops and things for like the Sinbad movies. He did the original Clash of the Titans. He did all these. He released the Kraken. And
this kid just, without ever seeing it, without knowing anything about it, just was flat out like, I will never watch that. And I said, you are the problem with the youth of America. You want everything new.
You're the problem with society, sir.
With no fucking respect for where anything came from. You know what I mean?
It's true. And you know what? It actually goes to something I was like reading. I was reading some top what was it? Top rom-com movies of all time, and top what was it, like heist movies of all time. And I'm reading these. I'm like, wow, shit. There's nothing before like 1980 on this list. Like, what the hell? Like that's where a lot of these movies like originated. And yeah,
rom-coms in the 50s were like
the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was a romantic movie like a romantic musical.
So it's like I'm looking, and it's like, yeah, some of these people out there, they just have no appreciation for where it all came from, the heritage, the lineage of, the sitcoms, like how when we've talked. We're not just talking about like, oh, okay, Friends and Forward. No, we're going back. Like we did an episode on the Honeymooners.
The day this show was born, you and I talked on the phone for must have been 3 hours.
Yeah.
I just called you up and I was like, we started talking about, and I was throwing ideas around what should we do, and something came up. I think it was Lucy or something came up, and we had this thing where we both knew so much about it, and that was the moment when I was like, we need to talk about this shit.
Yeah,
and really a
respect
for comedy history is so important.
It's true.
And in this weird cancel culture, especially, I feel like it's really important to look back and see where these things came from, who inspired who, and comedians are probably my favorite people on this planet. Did I see Titus yet when we did the last show? Because I just saw Titus, one of my absolute favorite, Christopher Titus.
Christopher Titus.
It's my 5th time seeing him, I think. Freaking love that man.
Oh my God.
We didn't get to do a meet and greet this time because they were still worried about COVID and they had a lot of tour left. So
yeah.
The other 4 times or whatever, I got a picture with him and met him though. He's such a good dude.
And they were probably like looking at you also. It's like, well, what's with the shit in his eye?
What's wrong with his fucking eye? I didn't have it yet.
It's like, we were gonna do a meet and greet, but you know what? Looking at that guy, we're probably better passing off.
Yeah, just fucking shooting goo at him. What's the matter? Why is it orange? I told you they put
nice
a fucking orange dye in my eye to like I'm leaking orange fucking eye boogers. It's the weirdest. I'm drinking Jaeger now to make the other eye match though, so we'll get there.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
but yeah, anyway, Gilbert. Like I said, my first introduction to him was probably those two, Aladdin and Problem Child. What was your first memory of him? Do you remember?
The first actual memory of him was one of the Young Comedian specials back on HBO, early mid '80s, I want to say.
Was he doing the voice yet?
Yes.
Because I know the voice is very embellished.
Yes. Oh no, it is. Like yeah he has.
It's not like people think that's just how he talks always. But
no.
He
that is, as you said, it's an embellished. It's an exaggerated form of his voice. Like he does have a little bit of that, like New York type of, because he was born in, I think, what was it? He was born in Coney Island and grew up in Brooklyn, I believe. But
like all the Jews.
Yeah, and now Gilbert would appreciate that joke too.
Exactly. That's a Gilbert type joke. Yeah.
But anyway, it's like but he realized at some point that if he exaggerated his voice more and got a little louder and like just a little more, like pushing it out there, it's like he got more of a laugh. So and
I love that he did so many animated voices, but they were all the same voice, which is great.
It wasn't so like he changed his voice for the animated characters. It's just like, we need an animated voice that sounds like Gilbert. Let's get Gilbert.
Well, and think about Iago alone. Some genius was like a parrot squawking.
Yep.
Gilbert. His voice is a squawk. And it's absolutely brilliant. If you watch that movie and really hone in on him, if you can put Genie out of your mind and stop bowing to Robin Williams and just listen to Gilbert, it is such an amazing performance.
It is.
And especially with Jafar being so subdued.
Yeah, subdued, villainous, like, like a very, but yeah, and
That's
Gilbert's just like
a great vocal team, those two. It really is genius.
But like I said, my first recollection of him was that. But the strange thing is, I actually didn't realize, but I had watched him before on his first TV gig, which was the 6th season of Saturday Night Live. So.
All right, so he was a cast member for 1 year, you said?
For one season. and yeah, and that's one of the when they go back on like the history of Saturday Night Live, it is usually considered one of the worst or the worst season of SNL. It was just like very unfunny.
It's so weird to see how many amazing, talented people like were on that show and you don't remember because they just didn't make it.
Right. They
Like
weren't
Julia
shining
Louise
at that
Dreyfus.
moment. Yeah.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on there, and Sarah Silverman.
You said
Ben
Robert Downey
Stiller?
Jr. Like,
Robert Downey Jr. Ben Stiller was on there. Like,
yep.
it's either the timing wasn't right or the sketch thing just wasn't right. But then I said when I was listening to that Dana Carvey, David Spade show, they had Ben Stiller on there, and he's talking about how he did, I think, 5 episodes of SNL before he quit. I think he quit. I don't think he got fired. I think he quit. And then he goes off and does the Ben Stiller show, which lasts, what, half a season, is canceled,
just about, yeah.
And wins an Emmy after it's canceled for Best Sketch Show.
Yeah, but which was hilarious because I actually watched the Ben Stiller show, and I thought it was freaking funny.
They're like, you canceled it, and we win an Emmy for outstanding comedy sketch show.
It's like I remember one of the skits, like counting with Bruce Springsteen, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How'd I do? How far did I get? It's like
someone. If you're listening to this and I was trying to tell him earlier. I don't remember which. It was an early season of SNL. Was it the 80? Maybe it was 85. Maybe it was like 10 years in. But they had a season where they wanted to fire everyone on the show and bring in new people. But I think it was Lovitz. They were like, they did a sketch in the last episode of the season where they're like, let's burn down the studio. And Lauren grabs everyone. He's like, oh, everyone go in this room. We're having a party or whatever. And then he grabs Lovitz and he goes, no, not you. You come with me. And then they burn the studio down. And then at the end of the season, they fired all the people who died in the fire.
That's crazy.
All the actors on the show thought it was a joke, but I'm pretty sure that was the one Robert Downey Jr. and I think, was it Keenan Ivory Wayans? I think were in that season.
It might have been. But
I mean, they became huge stars.
Oh yeah, there's so many that
on SNL
after SNL. There's so many that actually went on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
But like the Gilbert year, again, is one of the most reviled seasons of SNL. Like this was season 6. And this was the year that Lorne Michaels, he's like, you know what, guys, I gotta take a break. I'm gonna be gone for a year, and we'll pick back up. And what happened is, he thought they were gonna put the show on.
Don't forget this for your Lorne impression.
Yes.
They said Mike Myers stole Lorne for
Dr. Evil.
Austin Powers.
But anyway. Lorne thought they were going to put the show on hiatus for a year while Lorne was on hiatus, but instead, let's keep going. And they did. This is the season without Lorne, and it shows.
He was only gone for one?
Yes, I believe he's only gone for a season, and oh my God, it showed. And when people actually would be on his podcast, and they brought up that season, he's like, it was shit. He
in that original cast left because he left, right?
What's
they
that?
didn't want to do it without him. That original cast left because he left, right? They didn't want to do it without him. Is that what it was?
I think you're right on that. The original.
So the network had to find all new people.
Well, it was a combination of things because you did have some that were also becoming a little more famous, getting into movies. People like Belushi, people like Chevy Chase.
I heard
like
Chevy
Bill
and
Murray.
Bill Murray hated each other on there.
Oh, Chevy and Bill Murray, they were not friends.
But then they ended up doing Caddyshack, or was that before? No, that was during, I guess, wasn't it?
That was, and that was...
That would have been like 78?
78, I think, yeah. Or was it... No, I think that might have been 79, I think, Caddyshack. 78 was Animal House. But, so, you had all these great players that either were already going on to bigger things, and then the rest, I think you're right, where it's like, well, if Lauren's not going to be there, we don't want to be here. So, they just hired a whole boatload of new people. The the star, the one that they were going to focus on was Charlie Rocket, who I believe he was the one that was fired for dropping an F-bomb. And then I forget how long after that he died.
Another trilogy of movies I actually watched a lot as a kid, which is funny because looking back, they're very like at least the first one was the Look Who's Talking movies.
Yes.
And he was in the sequel to that, the Look Who's Talking 2. And also the sequel to, we said Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop.
Yep.
2. He was in that one.
Yeah, he actually kind of steals the show in that one because Beverly Hills Cop 2 wasn't as great of a movie as the first one was.
It was better than 3.
Oh, yeah, 3 sucked big ones because I saw 3 in the theater because my friend actually used to work for the video store next to the big movie theater by me, and they always had a deal. They did like kind of like midnight showings, like before the movie actually premiered. This was before actually that became the big thing that all movies do. And so basically for like donating a couple of bucks to the fund for those guys, yeah, I saw the movie.
Quick side tangent, since we're talking Beverly Hills Cop. This is one of the weirdest stories I've ever read in my history of falling down rabbit holes. I was watching that movie White Boy Rick with McConaughey.
Oh, okay.
And it's about the kid who got like the most years ever in prison for a drug offense. He got like 30 years or 25 years or something.
Jeez.
For like drugs. It was in Detroit.
Okay.
There was a hired hit on him, and I guess they thought that the Detroit city was the authorities were trying to shut this kid up because he had inside info because he was working for the police trying to put other people away so he could save his dad from going to prison.
Oh my God.
So I'm going through all this stuff. The guy who is the chief,
yeah,
was an actual chief of police in Detroit.
Holy crap.
How he ended up playing that part in that movie, I'm assuming he was like, "Oh, you want to shoot here?" But he's the one that a lot of people accused of crooked cop shit and is one believed to bring out the fucking hit on that kid.
Damn.
But how did a real chief end up being the chief in the fucking movie?
I have no clue on that.
And he's in all 3 of them, right? He dies in the 3rd one, I think.
You may be right. Yeah,
I think in the opening of the 3rd movie, he gets killed, and that's like the reason that he goes after the...
Yeah, because... and again, you're talking about the chief, not...
the one in Detroit.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because not Mauser, the one from the first couple of them, the one that Steve Guttenberg is always, like...
Oh, you're talking about Police Academy.
Oh, wait.
I'm talking about Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop. Oh my God, I'm getting all mixed up here. Oh yeah, okay.
Mauser was the guy in the second Police Academy.
Yes, okay, yeah, the second and third. Okay.
Which is funny because I have a YouTube video where I was trying to talk about Police Academy and I kept saying Beverly Hills Cop.
Shit.
And now
I
you're
guess this is a common occurrence for people.
Yeah. Well, I remember the Married with Children episode a lot, which I think was actually also called Ship Happens, which I think was the name of the episode of Raising Hope we talked about.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays himself. And I remember him doing that a lot on shows. He would play himself or a character named Gilbert that you assume is himself.
Right.
That was interesting. Again, that's self-deprecating. Because on that Married with Children episode, it's all about Al's like, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to throw Gilbert Gottfried off the fucking life raft. They end up like on a cruise ship, I think, and then the cruise ship sinks, and he was the entertainment, so they're stuck on a life raft with him.
With Gilbert. You know, it's something that Gilbert was into also. Gilbert was into like some of the old, not just the old comics like the comedians. He was also into some of the old comics too, like actually like comic books, and he actually wound up playing some like doing voice acting in, and also one live action too for there was an actual Superboy show on TV. I think it lasted actually like 4 or 5 seasons, which was strange. But yeah, he played Knick-Knack on that show. And on the Superman the Animated Series, which was a spin-off of the Batman Animated Series, the critically acclaimed one, Gilbert played Mr. Mxyzptlk.
technically based on a comic. He came in a season, I think, of that reboot of the Ninja Turtles that Nickelodeon did.
He
played
with Kang.
Krang. He played like the
Krang's...
Dimension X version of Krang or one of the other.
Yes. Like it was like Krang with a longer set of A's.
Sub Krang or Sub Prime Krang. That was actually pretty good. The CGI one, I think it was. That was actually pretty decent for like a revamped Turtles cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a really good interview. It was right after his death. I don't really like Bill Maher that much, but he was on Kimmel, and they were talking about that roast because Kimmel actually hosted that Hefner roast.
Okay.
And I guess him and Bill Maher were both considered Gilbert a very good friend. They'd known him for, I think Bill Maher said like 30, 40 years. I think he said he knew him.
Mm-hmm.
And
I wouldn't be surprised.
He goes, but I didn't know him. And Jimmy was like, you're right. He goes, I've spent hundreds of hours with him. I call him a good friend. He goes, but I don't know Gilbert. And he's like, Gilbert was a guy that would never answer a question seriously. He always had a joke. If you asked him how he was doing, he would turn it into a joke. If you asked how his family was doing, he wouldn't tell you. He would turn it into a joke.
Yep.
And Bill, I guess he does, was it Hawaii show every year or every other year or something like that. And he had Gilbert booked for this year. And he goes, I was really hoping I booked extra time just to spend time with Gilbert to try to get to know this son of a bitch.
Damn.
And he goes, now I won't get to. But Kimmel goes, you wouldn't have anyway.
Right. No.
You and I both know you would have tried, and it wouldn't have worked, and you would have been in the same boat anyway. It was kind of interesting.
It was a very select few that really got to know Gilbert, real Gilbert. Like, and if you want to watch a great documentary, actually watch the documentary Gilbert to actually learn a little bit about really the man Gilbert rather than just the comedian Gilbert.
They made a doc about him while he was alive?
Yeah. I think it came out in 2017.
I've seen something with his wife, and I guess the podcast was her idea, him and the guy he hosts it with.
Yeah, Frank Santapadre.
She said she would hear them talk on the phone for hours and have all these crazy stories, and I guess she goes, why aren't you recording this?
Yeah.
She goes, you should be doing something with this. Yeah, and that's how his show was born.
Yeah,
but he had young kids, right? So he must have had kids pretty late in life.
Yeah, he did.
Were they 12? 12 and 10 or something?
Yeah, I think his son Max was, I think, around like 11, 12 or something like that. And I think the daughter was actually a little older, like maybe like 14 or something like that. But so he did have kids later in life. But as you said, with he and Frank Santopadre, they would talk old Hollywood and old comics and like character actors, and they would talk old sitcoms, and they would talk about all these things. And yes, his wife Dara said, "Oh, why don't you guys make a show out of this?"
Isn't that weird though? That like down the road, these podcasts for all these people are going to be like, that's going to be a historical document of who these people were.
True.
Podcasting's been around now for what? Some of the early ones, maybe 20 years, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. It's kind of like the early mid 2000s there. I think that's when you really started.
Time when I'm sure media will change again at some point. I don't see podcasts going away, but it will evolve in some way.
Correct. Well, yeah, just like there's video podcasts, just like sort of we do a bit, but there's even more versions, and
you and I are both Kevin Smith fans. Imagine when he dies. There's probably hundreds of thousands of hours.
Yeah, we got too close a few years ago.
Right. Hundreds of thousands of hours probably by now with all the podcasts he's done.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
we're going to know everything we've ever wanted to know about him, and it's just there. It's out there in the world, and it is weird. This format that started, I think, is just a weird anti-establishment kind of a Wild West of entertainment.
When you think about the origins of podcasting, it's like you're thinking about almost like kind of like that whole idea of pirate radio That's kind of what it was. It was kind of like the early. There was a thing called internet radio, which kind of morphed in a way into podcasting.
Well, think about the prefix pod, iPod.
Yep.
Does anyone even have that anymore?
I used to.
They're still called podcasts, even though no one's probably listening on a fucking iPod anymore.
Right.
They're on their iPhone or their Android or their,
Mm-hmm. That's so true. But yeah, like the whole, like you said, the pod thing. Yeah, where that part of it came from. Yeah, that's really, we've passed that. It's like, and people consume from so many different places nowadays. It's like,
when did you start your other show? What year did you start that?
Strangely enough, this is going to sound crazy. The same year Gilbert started his, 2014.
Okay. And my first show I started in 2013.
Yeah.
And it was, even then, it was a whole new world. I mean, it was so much. We've been trying to build this thing, and it's so much more difficult now. There's so much competition. Yeah. Even in 2013,
there's so much content out there.
Even in 2013, it seemed so easy to just throw it out there, and people would flock.
Yep.
But now everybody and their fucking brother has a podcast. So.
Right. And I'm sure, like,
crazy.
if it hasn't been taken, there probably is an everybody and their fucking brother podcast.
It's probably an everybody fucking their brother podcast.
Well, no, yeah, that's a different podcast, though.
I want to see it. I hope it's got a vidcast.
Woohoo!
With smell-o-vision.
Oh, boy. Also playing himself, he was also a guest on Muppets Tonight. He was.
Yeah, I feel like most of his credits, his name is Gilbert.
Yeah.
I just opened the tab and I started scrolling. I see something called Malarkey. He plays Detective Gilbert. Like, what the fuck are you talking? Oh, what? Starving Gilbert. Everything's Gilbert, which is I love. Greg the Bunny, Gilbert. Like, what the fuck, man?
He was even a voice on Celebrity Deathmatch for himself.
For himself. He was probably one of the few that voiced themselves on there, I would imagine.
Yeah. And
I don't feel like a lot of those people had a good sense of humor to be doing that shit.
Actually, a funny thing about the Celebrity Deathmatch thing there, one of the guys that ran Gilbert's Twitter feed, I became like somewhat friends with this guy Greg Pear. He ran the Twitter feed for the Amazing Colossal podcast. He was one of the people that worked on Celebrity Deathmatch. So
I used to love that show. So I even have the PlayStation 2 game.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. Now you're going back. Another one where he played
the hell out of that game. Like, you could play as like Marilyn Manson and shit.
Jeez.
Busta Rhymes. It was a real snapshot of the time.
Oh, yeah.
I think Hugh Hefner might have been in there, too.
Wouldn't be surprised.
No Gilbert, though. I don't remember that. Oh, Anna Nicole Smith. If
that doesn't date it,
I don't know what does.
See, Gilbert also played himself on Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist. He actually, and that was actually Katz 2 episodes.
I used to love that show.
Jonathan Katz is still alive, I believe. Yeah.
What is he doing now? That dude, Dr. Katz was one of those weird late night cartoons. I used to go. It was like just so relaxing.
Yeah, well, which was weird because it had that very herky-jerky animation. It was always wavy.
Was that the same person who did home movies? Because it's that same style of animation.
Right. And funny as you mention it, Gilbert was also on home movies, too. As another talking parrot.
He was just a staple of. I even told you in one episode we talked about. I saw like a. What was the thing he hosted on TNT? The Up All Night?
No, USA. Up All Night.
Right. I saw some promo with him and Hellraiser, Pinhead.
Oh my God.
Hosting Up All Night, and I'm like, the guy was just, for a minute, he was everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you are familiar with the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yes.
On YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started getting into gaming, of course, I discovered the Angry Video Game Nerd, and James Rolfe cracks me up on there. What one man can do with a YouTube channel, amazing. But there was always he was a game creator, right? Fred Fox or Fred, what do they call him? Fred. I think his name was Fred Fox, but it was like CHS.
Like I guess
And
it
they
was
talked about
really I think
this-
Fuchs or whatever, but it's I think
right. And
yeah,
he
like it's
like
a
I
Fox.
guess that
Yeah.
guy's name was on a bunch of shitty games, so it became like lore within that little YouTube show. And then when the time came, they wanted to embody Fred Fuchs. They brought on Gilbert Gottfried.
He did a lot of guests. Just one episode in that. One of the ones he did actually was Cosby back in the days, and on his
He did Cosby too,
he was on Cosby.
along with who wasn't on Cosby. They were all fucking on.
And which is strange because actually he did 2 Cosby shows. He did the Cosby Show and then the
And
follow-up Cosby. He did both of them.
He didn't do Cosby Mysteries or whatever the fuck that shit was.
Oh God, no. On his podcast, he loves like going into taboo subjects and also celebrity rumors too. So of course, the Cosby stuff. We all know that stuff.
Have they released new episodes? Have they done their own little? Are they going to keep going without him, or?
That's what right now. If anything, they're going to release the last episode that was recorded with Gilbert. And then after that, they're going to do some classic episodes, like repackaged classics, but it hasn't been decided yet. And his co-host Frank Santopadre, right now, Frank and his wife are kind of taking a leave given what happened, and then decisions will be made if they continue it in some form or fashion. I hope they do.
His last tweet was defending Chris Rock.
Oh my God!
The slap thing.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So he had, what was the disease, or he had like a muscular disease or something that he was it made public or no?
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's just like Norm. It's something that he kept private that only the closest of close actually knew he had. This is. Okay, it was recurrent ventricular tachycardia, complicated by type 2 myotonic dystrophy. Basically, he had muscular dystrophy.
Was that the reason he was so small, or was that?
I don't know. That's a good question. If
he was always kind of small and curved, you know what I mean?
Right. Like hunched over a bit, and
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But for those that are not familiar with muscular dystrophy, for those that remember the Jerry Lewis telethon, Jerry's Kids, Gilbert actually had a muscular dystrophy.
Donate,
lady. and it's Gilbert would always say too. It's like, well, with Jerry Lewis, well, he was always nice to me. He actually had on as a guest Kirk Hammett of Metallica, because Kirk Hammett of Metallica is a huge monster guy, the Universal Monsters from way back, and actually has this huge collection of monster memorabilia. So,
real quick, who's your favorite Universal monster?
Favorite Universal monster? I was always a Dracula guy, although
Bella.
Yeah.
I go back and forth between Claude Rains as the Invisible Man and Bela Lugosi's Dracula. Those two are my favorite of them.
Yeah, no, that's a good
Invisible
pick,
Man is a brilliant fucking movie.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And
anyway,
and actually also, if you could ever find I believe the Spanish version of Dracula, like
it's on all the sets of Dracula, the Universal sets.
Oh, they do have it.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a Spanish dub of Dracula. There was another production of Dracula, the Spanish production.
They shot it at the exact same time with the same sets, only different actors.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's on the. Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
Because all the Universal Dracula collections, it's on.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I got to check that out because they've talked about it on Gilbert's show, and. Yeah, it's like oh yeah, one of these days I had all the individual.
I had all the individual collections on DVD, and then Prime Day last year, the Blu-ray set with all of them in there too. I bought that and then sold the other ones. But yeah, it's on there, and there's even a documentary about it. The American actors would leave after shooting all day, and then at night, the director and the Spanish director and the Spanish actors would come in, use the same script and the same set.
Wow.
I was gonna say one of the guys, was it James Whale? I was trying to remember his name. I think I googled this right. James Whale, I think, did like Frankenstein and the Invisible Man.
Mhm.
There was a movie that came out with Ian McKellen, and I love the Universal monsters, and I was like, oh shit, there's a movie that it was kind of written like, oh, the making of Frankenstein and shit, and I was like, I gotta see this.
Ooh.
You watch the movie, bro? I had a friend over, one of my buddies. I was at his wedding last year, and I was like, bro, I showed him the Universal monster movies, and I was like, oh, there's a movie about the director. You want to watch it? He's like, sure. We put it on. It's Ian McKellen. There's maybe 5 minutes of that movie about the making of the monsters.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was incredibly gay, and the whole fucking movie is Ian McKellen trying to fuck his lawn boy, who's Brendan Fraser.
What the hell? Nothing to do
so
really
many
much
dicks.
with the making of Frankenstein, but
There's so many fucking dicks in this movie, dude. And I was like, my buddy, at like 20 minutes in, my buddy looks at me and he goes, you really wanted me to watch this with you? And I was like, I didn't know. I didn't know. I think it was called Gods and Monsters or something like that.
Oh my God. Oh, you know another thing. Gilbert was part of the Sharknado series.
Was he in all of them or one of them?
Let's see. Which of them was he?
I've
in?
never seen any of them, thank God. But
Yeah, I've seen pieces of them, but I've never actually watched a beginning to end Sharknado.
I feel like most of their cast is dead now, right?
Oh God, yes, killed by sharks. Let's see, I think he might have just been on the fourth going on. As strange as it is that he played all these, he's in all these movies, TV shows, voice acting, all these things. He's a stand-up comic, but he actually was more of a little bit more of an introvert. He was more to himself and his family. So. Yeah, like when it was like, oh yeah, maybe I don't have to actually do my show tonight.
Yeah, this was a sad one too, man. This shit's got to stop.
Yeah,
Stop
I really hope
killing
it
our
does.
Fucking comedians, I'm sick of this shit.
I'm
That's crazy.
I'm trying to think of like some of the funniest, like with the roast things. Like I know he went off and people were dying during the one.
Well, we mentioned the Bob Saget who raped and killed a girl in 1990.
Yes,
They're
we have mentioned
losing
that one. But actually, Roseanne, the Roseanne roast, he just went on this whole fictional monster thing. It's like, Rosezilla!
Rosezilla! Yeah. I remember that.
And it's like, it was just like it really
Eating everything in sight. Yeah.
But it became basically like sort of like an aristocrat because he was just making shit up like on the thing. It's like Rosezilla, like
yeah, just a funny fucking dude. And it was just like he was a lot like Norm, really.
Yeah.
Especially on the roast aspect of it, when you just see how everyone reacts to him, it didn't matter what he said. He was just a naturally funny fucking dude.
Yeah.
And everybody just, as soon as he was up there, you were already in.
Yeah, and
just him standing at that podium, you were already laughing.
Yeah, you were in it. You were into it already. Like just him.
Whatever he was gonna take you on that ride, you were there for it.
And then, oh wow, I just realized his last credit, like TV credit at this point. There's a new animated show on, I think it's on Adult Swim. It's called Smiling Friends. And Gilbert, in that show, played the voice of God. So, how apropos for Gilbert to go out on playing the voice of God. And one of the funniest things, like, coming from the actual service for Gilbert. And if you want, you can actually watch the service of Gilbert. It is out there. LegacyCelebrated.com, which includes people like Jeff Ross and other comics actually celebrating his life, as well as his family celebrating him. and like and
Yeah,
other
I saw
friends.
something. It was like Whoopi Goldberg sends her regards, but she couldn't make it. Like, what the fuck is she doing? What the fuck is Whoopi Goldberg so busy
Well,
doing?
she does The
couldn't make it.
View, so yeah.
Fuck.
But anyway, Jeff Ross. Apparently, he ended his his eulogy thing for Gilbert there. It's like, and just like Gilbert, to leave us like hanging with the freaking check. Even in passing, he still left us with the check.
Yep. Bill me.
Yeah, it's good because Gilbert was also known to be incredibly frugal. Basically, on tour, he always took the little bottles of shampoo and soap and things. So he has collections upon collections of that stuff.
I'm not going to point out the stereotypical Jew jokes at
No,
this moment.
although again, Gilbert would be happy in you doing so.
I am Dutch and Irish. I am a cheap drunk.
Yeah, and I'm Italian, so
Gilbert.
I'm Italian, so I'm a greasy dago. So there we go.
Yep. Yeah, man. I'm glad we did this. I think this is
Me too. And, I say
it's a life worth talking about for sure.
very much so. And for those that want to, that are not as familiar with Gilbert, I'd say go to IMDb or Wikipedia, check out his filmography. Check out what you can with that. If you can find any of his stand-up, check that out.
I guarantee everyone's seen Aladdin. So
yes,
there's one already knocked off the list. Who hasn't seen fucking Disney's Aladdin?
Right.
I mean,
that's in itself, like a classic. So, if you want to see a Gilbert classic, watch the movie Funky Monkey, as he always brought up on his show. It's supposed to be another like really bad one, but it was a check for Gilbert, as he said. But I would say though, also listen to his podcast. You'll actually, even though he's funny, he's cracking jokes, but you see the affection, the love that he had for these people that preceded him and his peers, and for people that actually created these things, these character actors, these famous people, these behind the scenes people, the guys that actually just did some of the scores for movies, or some of the things you take for granted. Gilbert loved all of that, and you'll get that from listening to his podcast.
well, that's what he created, a brilliant character that will live on forever.
Right.
I was talking to this one of the girls I'm talking to here. She was like, I was like, oh, Gilbert died. You like Gilbert? She goes, I fucking hated him. And I was like, what? She goes, he always played the same character. I'm like, yeah. He created a brilliant fucking character. And that's what you do. You create a brilliant character, and he didn't just play him. He lived him, for decades. That's brilliant.
It's so true.
I'm not talking to that bitch no more.
She's
dead now.
do you know when Gilbert actually started doing stand-up, by the way?
You said he was on SNL in 80. I'm going to guess they probably found him doing stand-up. So I'm going to guess, educated guess. How old was he when he died? 67?
67, yeah.
15.
Bingo.
Really?
He was 15 years old when he first tried stand-up.
I only said that because I know, I think it was Chappelle and Chris Rock both started as, teenagers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gilbert was another. It was like he always loved the stuff, so he decided at, sort of an open mic type of thing, he's going to go up and try. He did some impersonations of some classic actors, and that was his stand-up. And then, the next time he did things, he did that, but as he was doing the thing, he threw in some a little more inappropriate material, and he got some good laughs from that. And then he learned.
Well,
wait a second.
You said he grew up in New York.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys who are like the East Coast comedians, they all start really young, it seems like.
It does a lot
I don't
of
know if
times
clubs
sound
back
like that.
then just didn't care. Like there was no age limit. Like
I don't
imagine
know.
going to a comedy club and watching a 15-year-old do stand-up.
Yeah,
How weird would that be?
You
have to earn that.
I was
you have
gonna
to
say
earn
it's
that
like
laugh.
logically thinking, I can't picture that like a 15-year-old going up and being actually funny for
Right.
adults. But that's what he did. They get the bug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's their calling. And that was Gilbert's calling. Like between stand up, the voice acting, the regular acting, it was all part of Gilbert. And the more inappropriate it was, the more fun he had doing it.
Well,
But
yeah. R.I.P. Gilbert. God damn it, I'm sick of this shit. Well,
hopefully
unless
between now and the next show,
someone else
nothing
dies.
happens.
unless someone else dies, then next week we'll be doing different strokes.
Correct. And we'll get into the Molly Shannon story of Gary Coleman there.
If Todd Bridges dies before this, I swear to fucking God, he's the only one left, right?
Yeah, he's the only one left.
I'm sorry, Todd. Sorry.
No, not counting guest appearances, such as
Hang
Mr.
in there,
T.
buddy. Hang in there, buddy.
And I told you, like with the I don't know if you saw it, they had the live in front of the studio audience. They did the episode of Different Strokes, and Todd actually did show up.
Yeah, I think we should. I think a good idea too would be go back and we got to do some more sit commentaries for some of these shows we've covered. I think that'd be a good idea.
That's it. That sounds good. And
yeah, maybe we can talk to some peeps and see who's around still. Maybe we can get a guest here and there.
That sounds good. And also, for all those out there listening, watching, and that, if there's particular sitcoms that you'd like us to, get to, or if you, something of that sort that you would like us to do a commentary track on, let us know. Like
episode suggestions for sure too. Oh, other life goal. I just met this guy the other day. Ghostface. Did I tell you that?
Oh shit, no.
I met the voice actor who played Ghostface in all the Scream movies.
Oh,
and
cool.
He just happened to be at a con here in my city, and I was like, I'm leaving work early. I'm going to this con. I paid to get in. I only cared to meet him.
Oh, damn.
I got a picture with him and an autograph, and then I left.
Oh,
because I was like,
what was that? Motor City Con?
No, that's in Detroit. That's coming up. They are doing a Scream reunion with a couple of the guys.
Okay.
I think they're doing Jamie Kennedy, Matthew Lillard, and Skeet Ulrich are going to be there.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, Ghostface was in Grand Rapids at Grand Rapids Comic Con. So
okay, yeah, because I know Ming was out your guys' way not long ago. Like he picked up some.
he wasn't at that one because I looked at the guest list and he wasn't.
Okay,
there.
yeah,
I would have gone and said hi to him if he was there.
because he got some Fago to go, like
right,
and a couple of other local goodies to bring back to Jersey.
Fago Rock and Rye. Oh God, so
Okay.
have you had Rock and Rye?
No, I have not.
My God, Fago Rock and Rye, bro.
Well, again, we don't have Fago out here, so that's why
they don't even ship it there.
No,
Really?
that's not a thing out here. That's why Ming actually bought some to bring back.
Wow. Well, you better tell him to give you a Rock and Rye if he's got one.
Okay.
I'm not even sure what the actual flavor of I think it's like maybe like a blackberry cream soda or something like that.
Ooh.
It's so fucking good.
Okay, I will definitely question Ming about that. Yeah, I know I'll be seeing him, I'm sure, in a couple of weeks.
Stash Bash?
Stash Bash.
I wish I could go, but I shouldn't.
I know.
I'm going to LA for a week this summer, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, that's definitely worth it. So, yeah. But yeah, next time you can get out to our way, be it Stash Bash or just, hey, coming out to Jersey, definitely let us know. I'm
going to spend the rest of my life in Jersey. I love it.
I'm
moving, baby.
You bring the Fago. I'll get the pork roll or Taylor ham, egg and cheese. By the way, for all those who want to know the whole freaking story on that one, listen to my other podcast last episode. We settled the score on that freaking debate.
We'll give them the name so they can go look for it.
Yeah, that podcast is What Exit Jersey Stories, and Jay, if they want to listen to some of your other podcasts, well,
My old show, Hard to Swallow with JJ Bidwell. Actually, it was funny. One of my old lady coworkers, I was telling her about some movie thing, and she Googled me, and she found the old show, and she goes, "That doesn't sound like you." With me going, "Fuck this and fuck that and fuck you." So that's me. That's me, all right. You just don't know me.
And if they want to reach out to us or individually, you can reach our Twitter at @sitcommyface.
Email sitcommyface@gmail.com.
Our
He's
Facebook page.
Netnick191 on Twitch.
That is correct. And you are Bidwell Fogg on Twitch.
Correct.
So.
The Facebook page, I think we're at like 99. If we get to 100, I'm happy. So just get that one extra.
Yes.
100,000, not 100. No, just kidding. Keep it going, kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what 100 itself? Yeah, that's all right. But
we're getting the listens. I can't get we got to blow up that YouTube, kids. Blow up that YouTube channel. Search Sitcom My Face.
Hit the likes. Hit the subscribes.
Like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Come on, don't make me say it. I feel like a shill when I say it. Just do it.
And I feel like an awkward old man when I say it. Come on. Don't make me do it again.
When he says he's twitching, he means he's twitching. He's not
exactly. That means it's time to go to see the doctor again. Come on. And when Jay's twitching, that means it's probably something wrong with his eye.
Look at me. The more subs we get, the better I feel.
Yeah. Come on, kids. Yeah, the more subs we get to take care of Jay's eye.
Everyone knows the cure for a viral eye infection is likes and comments.
Yes, and if we don't get it in time, Jay may lose that eye, and the rest of the show will be done via Pirate's eye patch.
If we don't reach our sub goal, I'm gonna kill another comic great.
Oh, no.
I'm not gonna tell you who it is, but if you don't do it, you're gonna see.
Oh shit! Spin the wheel of comedy. Well, I think this has been a great episode. I enjoyed talking about Gilbert, remembering him, and for Sitcom My Face.
You mean Sitcom My Grave?
Sitcom My Grave. I've been Nick Franco.
I've been Jay Bidwell.
And I hope you'll sitcom my...
If you sit on my face, don't get any more shit in my eye.
Yeah.
Watch your ass before you sitcom my face.
Do a little twitch to the left. But sitcom my grave. Base.
Goodbye, America.
Take care.